Hi everybody, it's Jalessa again, and today we're going to do a quick demonstration of flush setting a stone. Now if you've never done this before, this will be something new to you and hopefully the steps will be easy. But if you've done this before, then it's a refresher and I hope this is helpful. So let's get on with the show. So I'm going to start off with several different tools. First, I want a 1.2 millimeter drill. And the reason for that is because I'm using a 3 millimeter stone. And with a 3 millimeter stone, I want to have the hole opened about half the diameter of the stone. And since I don't have a 1.5 drill bit, I'm using my 1.2. Then I'm going to work with a 2.2 millimeter ball burr to open the seat the first time around. And that helps the next ball burr up cut without chattering. Next, I'm going to use a 3 millimeter ball burr to open the seat up to the size of the stone. And finally, I'm going to use a heart burr. And a heart burr is shaped like the stone. So when you place it into the metal, it will actually create an opening that is approximately the same shape and size of your stone. As you can see here, I've already got one set, but I'm going to go ahead and set another one right beside it so you can see the process. I also have a 3 millimeter cubic zirconia stone. The first thing you want to do is drill your hole. And in order to do that smoothly, I take my scribe and I make a divot in the metal. This will keep my drill bit from going all over the place. Also, the other thing I'm using is an Optivisor with a 3x magnification so I can see it just a little bit better because my vision's not all that great. So I've got my drill bit in my flex shaft. I'm going to put a little burr lube on it and go ahead and drill my hole. Now I want to drill the hole completely through, but I don't want to do it all in one swipe. So I'll go in a little bit, bring out my drill, go in a little bit further, bring out my drill, and then finally punch through the back of the metal. And the reason why I do that is because you have a less chance of breaking your drill bit into the metal, especially the smaller the drill bit goes. Now before I go to my next burr, I'm going to flip this piece of metal over and chamfer the back of this hole, because if you were doing this on a ring or a pennant, you wouldn't want any sharp edges on the back side touching the skin. I'm not going to do a lot, I'm just going to do enough to smooth it out. Plus it's also aesthetically pleasing. Okay, now I've got my 2.2 millimeter ball burr and I'm going to go ahead and open this seat. Put a little bit burr lube on there and drill. You don't want to go too fast or too slow because you can dull your burr. And also when you're drilling, you only want to go as deep as the widest part of the burr. Any further than that, you're just making the hole too deep. So you can see here, I've got the hole right at about the widest part of the burr. So that part's finished. The next thing I'm going to do is move up to the 3 millimeter ball burr and open the seat further. Same thing goes with this. You use burr lube and you only sink it as deep as the widest part of your burr. The next step is to do your heart burr, or to use your heart burr to open up the seat inside the hole. You want the stone to snap in place so that you can push the metal on the outer side into the stone and hold it in place. And the way you can tell that your heart burr has gone deep enough is that when you drill and you stop and pull it out, it's got a slight snap. I can tell this is not quite deep enough, so I'm going to go in a little bit deeper. Okay, that looks good. Now the last step is to take your stone with the table down on your bench pin, clean out your setting, and then place it over the top of the back of your stone and press it in place. I'm not sure if you heard that, but you can hear an audible click when it's done correctly. The next thing I want to do is check the table and make sure that it is level with the metal. In this case, it's not quite level, so that means I need to drill a little bit deeper with the heart burr. So I'm going to push this out the back. Take my heart burr again, a little burr lube on it, and drill it just a tad bit deeper. Pull it out. Should have slight resistance. And then try snapping the stone over it once more. Didn't click that time, but the table is level with the metal. So now I can take my burnisher and do the north, south, east, west setting with the burnisher. You shouldn't have to hold the stone in place if you got that proper little snap in place. It'll move a little bit, but it shouldn't come out. And you'll notice here I'm using the burnisher at about a 45-degree angle to start with. And finally the last section. You notice my stone is still moving. That just means I need to burnish down a little bit more. You notice it stopped moving. And then now that I've got the 45-degree angle complete, I'm going to change my angle to about a 90-degree angle and push outward and go around the stone at the same time. Oops. I'll show you how to fix that. There you go. Now the stone is set, and the way you can test it is to take your piece of wire, flip it over, and try and push it out the back. And this one's not going anywhere. So you can see I made this nasty little gouge in my metal, and that's inevitable. It happens all the time. It may be big, it may be small, but eventually you'll figure out how to hold the tools a little bit better so that it doesn't come out. But the best way to fix it is to take your burnisher once again and go in the opposite direction of the gouge and press down. And you'll see the metal starts to press over itself. Now it's not going to fix it completely in this manner, but once you've got it burnished, you can take your sandpaper. I recommend using 1000 grit sandpaper, but I don't have any at the moment, so I'm going to use the sandpaper I've got at hand. And I'm going to go in the opposite direction that I burnished. And I can see that's taking that out. Now that I've gone in the opposite direction, I'm going to go side to side and continue to wash that or rub that gouge out of the metal. And I'll keep doing that until the gouge is gone. If it doesn't work the first time, take your burnisher out again. I can see a couple little dots there. Go back to the sandpaper. You want to be careful not to scratch your stone if it's not a harder stone. Cubic zirconia is pretty hard, so I'm not really too worried about it. That's it. You can see the gouge over here. Right here's the gouge. And then right next to the stone, you can see where I've cleaned it up. So that's how you flush set a stone. So we'll go over it again. This is a 3mm stone, so I'm drilling with a 1.2mm drill all the way through. Then I'm stepping up to a 2.2mm ball burr to open up the seat. Once that seat's open, I'm going to use my 3mm ball burr, which is the same size as my stone, to open the seat up just a little bit further. And I'm only going to half the depth of my ball burr because that's where the ball burr is the widest. And finally, I'm going to use my Heartburn, my 3mm Heartburn, to open the seat on the inside of the hole in the shape of the stone. This one I'm going to go deeper. I want to make sure that I'm going deep enough that the table sits level with the metal. Once I've done that, I can take my metal and push it over the stone. If it doesn't have an audible click, that means that the seat is not deep enough, so I'll push it out with a piece of wire out the back. Use my Heartburn once again to go a little bit deeper into the metal, and then press my stone over it once more. The trick to the Heartburn to know whether or not it's working is as you're drilling through, when you finish drilling, let it stop and stay in the hole, and then pull it out. You should have a little bit of a resistance when you pull it out of the hole. So that's how you set a flush set stone in a piece of flat silver. I hope this was helpful. So today we did a flush setting of a faceted round gemstone. I hope these steps were helpful for you, and if you like this video, leave me a comment down below, share with your friends, and subscribe to my channel if you want more videos like this. Thank you, everybody. Goodbye.